we call it Boxing Day? No, wait, that's a different holiday. So tonight is BuyuKai review night. So whoever was there, what was something that, you want to look at some more, dig in some more, something that confused you that you want to look at some more, understand? Just kind of go around the room. So Jack, what was something that you want to look at more, or understand better?
I really liked all of Brett's combo stuff, like just that ability to be loose with it, and we were working on some of this before,
Yeah.
but like striking without overplaying your hand, so that they kind of, I got hit, but maybe I'm still underestimating you.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked John's thing.
Okay.
He's doing in the combo stuff too.
Okay. You guys didn't attend. Kyle?
I'm finding stuff in there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff that I liked, and I would say your segment at the end was what challenged me the most.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's one of those where it's almost like meta knowledge. It's something to keep in mind as I keep going forward more than like trying to hammer it in on the spot. So
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Lynn?
I liked it all, but I really
Then what do you want to work on some more?
maybe what the handball stuff, and
Okay.
I love that. I thought that was really helpful.
Okay. All right. The painful shit. All right. John?
Anything that Scott bragged with.
Anything that Scott did? Okay. All right. You? Zach's stuff.
I like Scott's stuff too.
Okay, so Scott's, Brett's, mine. Okay. Well, let's actually start with this Hombo thing, just real quick, because we can get through that one. That was the majority. And so everyone go grab a Hombo.
Oh, sorry. A couple of you guys got this short stick.
Look at the short stick.
Everybody's got you. I got a couple shorter ones. There we go. There's one longer one. Perfect. All right.
So for those who weren't there, so Jack, can I borrow you? Okay. So Mr. Varnum was doing the same, so just hold the stick out, your little drumstick there, where he was just sitting, kind of just standing there, and then he would just flick his hand, and this would come down and just crush. I went and talked to him about this, for a while, because I was kind of interested on his, what he was doing with his hand. What was his mechanics with his hand? Because it looks like, I'm just kind of grabbing and turning the wrist down. That's kind of what it looks like. But it wasn't that at all. He was actually using this really neat lever action thing. So has anybody ever thrown a kusari out? Has anybody ever done that? Probably not. But basically, when you throw a kusari out, what you do is you hold this here, and you kind of ball up into these three fingers so you can throw it out, but you don't lose it. So we're really using these fingers and this. And that's kind of what he's doing here, is if you come here, so note the lever action between these fingers and this. Right, do you see that? And so he's pulling these fingers down against the lever action of that thumb. And that's how he's doing it. He's not using the wrist. He's actually pulling that thumb down and having that come out. And because he has longer hands, wider hands this way, he has a long lever, to which you can adjust by kind of lengthening your hand out a little bit too, and getting a longer lever to be able to do that. Does that make sense? Everyone see what I'm talking about? This pulling down with these two fingers against this part right here. Okay? So that is essentially what he was doing, was be able to pull this down and then flick that back in. And of course the whole thing's moving, but the essence is I'm just pulling these two fingers, almost like kind of firing a gun awkwardly, pulling the trigger in. He's pulling this in to pull it against this lever. The longer and wider you can make your hands, the longer the lever, the more torque that you can get. All right, so we're just grab a partner, go off and on, for just 5 times. Be here, and well, Jack will be able to pull it, but I'm just going to sit here, relax, and just see if I can work that mechanic to be able to get that to hit. And then after you've both gone like 5 or 6 times and feel like the mechanic, then the person will try to, see, can they pick up on a tell, if I do something like that, or something else, and how easy can you just have to and not move it? How quickly can we deliver this? Okay, make sense? All right, let's start there. Cool.
And call me totally lame, because I am. I've got Mr. Matt out here with the Hombo, and Here we are. Very focused, you can almost feel the growls. Yeah! And there's this almost kind of, it's too much. What if you just had like stick a straw hanging out of your mouth and, here you are, just, all of a sudden just something zips out of nothing. It's like looking over this way and you hear a baseball hit a bat and you turn over and there's a line drive right in your face. There's a feeling and a relaxation to this that when we're working on this skill set and really focusing, we want to be aware of how much tension we're actually creating in ourselves to really kind of get this right. Smile. This is the easiest thing in the world. There's nothing to it. Just relax. You don't have to do too much. You can even relax and go slow to get the technique. You don't have to nail it every time out of the gate, but my arm is not tense. My arm's relaxed. Keep going.
Almost to the point in time where it's like you can see that it's hard to, your wrist can't inflect. Because I've seen some people that the hand grips are different, and I see that the pressure is kind of up here on these two fingers, and that's not really where it is. The more that you can hold this straight, the more your arm has to almost kind of get in line with it, right? But you notice also now the whole line that this is going is a lot longer now.
Also cut down an immense amount on the travel path.
Right.
Instead of the tip having to go from all the way back
there. Right. So this is now actually closer, but if I'm holding it like this, I just lost all this degree of angle of hit. Do we see that from going to there? Versus if I was here, now it has a whole 180 to the hit. You see that? So it actually has large. But also too, it actually props my hand a little better, so these fingers really don't work. I need to have these out here to really counterbalance it. So if you hold it out like this, hold your arm out straight, and try to get this parallel. Try to get this handle parallel. Do you see how your bottom fingers have to be the things that hold it so straight? Hold your arm straight out. Straight out. See how it? Right. It has to be your lower fingers that hold it out. The top fingers are here. If it get too heavy, it doesn't make sense. You almost want this as a counterweight. And now you can really feel that. You're gonna really feel that fulcrum. You want to feel that? That's what he's using. He's pulling this underneath. He's starting from this angle and doing it though. So when you start from this angle, then you can kind of change your grip and it gets up to these two fingers. So get it here. So it's resting up my arm parallel. Then it has to be these two, right? And then just move it down to here and stay relaxed and then do that move. Got it? Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Going down, or if you're coming up, well, it's the front and this. It's the front two and the back of the hand. And now those are your two levers, right? And there was a lot of top. We also had shots from here too, but it was really predominantly this thing that he was doing. But you notice even as he moved around, he was still doing this. He wasn't changing the hand motion. He was just changing the angle of the hand, right? So it was going here and or here, but it's still that lever grip motion was doing the whole thing. He would just change the target that he was going after. Okay. So for a couple of minutes, if I got just look back, I'm not gonna wail him, but can we actually, with that same motion, can we adjust to a hit? Can we just, okay, now I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go over here. And then maybe even this arm was very, that upon switch hands, train the other side. Here we go here, and go over here, right? And just so you can get the motion, but really focus on that levering in the hand, and then just see, can you change your angle to come back hand around, okay?
May I add just one minor? No, don't even worry about it. One minor, all that. You're not going anywhere. I'm going to take the big thing. Oh no, I'm going to use the big one.
At least now again.
It's the bamboo. So be aware that the stick was moving and Brett's body was catching up to it to support it in its position. It wasn't everything all kind of going at the same time. It's just a minor detail, but an important one to consider is, and that's why I picked this to be really visible. That's what we're looking for. Keep going. That's all.
So you get the timing's right, and then the longer the stick, same thing. But if we go back to the hand, Because in the end, that position is this position, this closed position is the final position, that stick will be out there, right? So that's a lot more easier to notice. So I have Matt, and if we were doing that into like a punch, right? I know when my hand is closed. I know when my body is supposed to get there, right? Because I'm used to punching people, so I can rock in and boom.
He's
and
already
do that.
pulled over. He can't pull over any farther.
Right? So I know that the hand timing and my body timing will represent into the stick. Does that make sense? Now this hand motion too can also, you could use it into a punch. You could pull this in and have that come forward, right? And actually have it be a punching motion. So if Matt threw like he threw a right or something like that, this could, you have that same motion into, and it hurts. And so if you can keep that same motion, you can actually keep it on your punches that you're doing here. And so now grip strength, you know, those guys, the old guys used to like kick their hands and rip tree bark off and do all the old stuff to get that grip strength because man, that matters. I mean, you can see how grip strength is, whoa, that should be, if you had a grip strength, whoa, you had a really nasty grip. Man, wow, that move would just crush people. Okay, so on the timing, don't necessarily worry about this tip in your feet. Worry about the fact that you already know that, okay, if I were to do that means I can do this. Okay? It's a good question. Kind of go down, and we're realizing, okay, great, this is how it would hold. There's another aspect too, the hand position on this, right? So if I'm kind of, and I'm noticing a lot of people are kind of holding it inside like this, see the hand position in relationship to the bow, kind of concave. I'm really on the tips of my lower two fingers this way, and I got a lot of gap in here. I can actually fit a finger right up in there. I don't want that, because now what's happening is this thing goes down, I have a lot of control, and it's slightly wiggling, and I don't really have good grip on this, and I'm just kind of hoping it gets there. I'm not really controlling it. But if I can actually pronate my hand like this, I'm still on these two fingers, but now I'm actually closer to the pad, and now this is tight. It is making contact, and that I have absolute control over. There's no sideways wiggle. So here.
Mr. White, where's the line of your knuckles relative to your wrist in this configuration?
Right over them for the most part. If anything, inside the wrist.
Say almost a straight line. From
Pretty
your wrist
close,
down through your
pretty
knuckles?
close. It is a little concave, but not much. It's definitely not this. And I'm seeing a lot of people hold like this. That's not how you punch, right? You'd punch more like this. This is offset a little bit because it's not lined up with this, it's lined up with this. So I'm gonna actually turn to adjust that a little bit more to have that here. And now to cut down this gap, now I have a solid grip. This is against my whole palm. My pads of my knuckles are over this and not the fingers, more power. Now I can actually have a better grip on it. Does that make sense? Okay?
It's the same grip you'd have a hammer in. It's the same alignment.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't hold a hammer like this. It'd be very hard, right? You'd wrap your hand around it. You know, you'd put your knuckles on top so you could have a good control. I think if we actually gave you some really heavy, like metal things, you know, metal rods, that you would not hold it like this. It would hurt. You'd naturally gravitate to wrap that a little bit more. Boom.
You ever see like a 7-year-old trying to hammer things?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks like this. We know it's here.
Yeah, this is a great one. You can just practice this at home on the cat, you know, or whatever, you know, parties with
Practice it at my house on my cat.
nephew. You know, this is something you can just do, and you can just kind of like walk, you know, just have fun with it, you know, just work it. Let's move on though, because we have a lot of things we had to cover, and I believe, let's go for your stuff.
Okay.
All right, both straps
Let
up.
everyone put everything away.
Tombos up. Sticks up.
So I was really lucky to be in the weekend where, is it on? It's on. Hi! I was very lucky to be early in this because it's something that's kind of high energy, that what we were working on. So for those of you who weren't there, we were working on several methods and tactics and techniques you can use to kind of take the initiative in a fight before we're really giving somebody a chance to fight us. I call it self-offense. I think it's a great term and something that I, honestly, we discussed this actually a little bit today at a corporate workshop. Someone's pushed me into a corner and I'm feeling like I'm attacked. I'm not gonna wait for them to attack me. I wanna get them before they have a friggin' chance. It's called preemptive warfare. Bush Cheney. So the idea with this was we were kind of playing a lot with tension and with expectation, and in order to generate that, we're kind of feeding some energy ourselves. And when everyone's feeling, when I'm hearing the lights buzz, I'm thinking everyone's like a little, oh. So what I'm gonna ask you to do, wake up a little. Wake up a little. For real, wake up a little bit. This is very hard to do if you, all right, good. Yeah, this works better when you do that. So we took a few elements of misdirection and kind of put them together in sequence, and we're gonna do the same thing. Oh, John, come on now. How's your left hand? How's it doing?
Good.
All right, good. It's not too sore? All right. So here's the thing. We're making a few assumptions here in order for us to practice these skills. This is all ingredients you can mix and match, and I don't want to spend too much time setting this up, so bear with me a little bit. John's a tough young guy. He's got his hands up. We know where to fight. Yeah, he comes in. We know he's trained in ninjutsu. Now, I want him to show. Yeah, I want to be. Yeah. He's kind of a. Yeah, he's gonna punch me. He's covered. This guy, maybe he's done some boxing. I don't friggin' know. And all I know is that if I just try to step in and attack, he's gonna deck me. Yeah, I'm getting hit. I really can't afford just a simple attack. So I like low cost, painful, sudden things. I was nailing down flashing on my shed roof last summer, and I almost got knocked off my roof by a wasp. I almost got knocked off the roof by a wasp because I didn't expect it, and God, and there was the edge. So let's be that wasp here for just a second. So we're circling, and at this point I'm saying I don't have time to let this guy attack. I need to start doing something here. So we're moving. We're just kind of smacking the hands. Called a beat. This is a beat. Just a little smack. Yeah, it's almost kind of hard to pull the hand out of the way in time, isn't it? Yeah. That's not because of my incredible hand speed. It's
but it's partially.
It helps. It helps. But the hand's kind of moving. It's moving in a straight line, and it's just a little right there. That's the actual movement I'm doing slowed down. But it's not. Yeah, that'll never work. Unless, that's what I wanted. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna practice. You can do this lightly, you can do this hard. It's up to you guys, not your training partner. We're just gonna smack the hand, and we're gonna come back out of range. Just barely getting to no man's land, smacking and coming back. At some point, he goes to pull the hand. I'm gonna kind of step forward, he's gonna pull the hand. Perfect, just like that. So yeah, good, he pulls the hand. We're actually gonna change that attack, and this is gonna become a punch to the face. Notice there's been a slight change in angle. I did not point that out this weekend. I'm not doing this. Right here, where I'm straight on. We're kind of coming offline just a little bit. Let's start there. How's that sound? Yosh. It's on one half of the room. So this isn't quite game theory, but the best part is it actually doesn't matter what they do. Because here's the part, I don't care. I used to have a friend, hi Mike Smith from Bowdoin Central School, who was a wrestler. And one of his favorite things to do in high school wrestling was he'd grab his partner and he'd be doing this. And he'd be doing this. Well, that's a dumb, hokey little trick, right? It is a dumb, hokey little trick. But his logic was, and I love this at the time, it was perfect high school logic. If they're ignoring it, if they're focusing on ignoring it, they're focusing on the hand. If they're focusing on the hand, they're focusing on the hand. I'm just trying to make sure that they're looking up here when something else is coming over there. You're just trying to take their mind a little bit. And that's a really common thing when you think about it. It's pretty easy to do. See that? Nothing there. Nothing there. It's just, yeah, right? We do this stuff all the time. So what my job is here, and I'll take a volunteer who doesn't mind getting smacked on the hand a little bit. Mr. Kyle, very good. So my job here is he doesn't know right out the gate that we're doing this. We know what we're doing, but my attacker doesn't. If I'm good at not telegraphing stuff, yeah, it's just that little smack. Oh, there it is. And cool, look at how far we've actually traveled here. We've actually really changed the position substantially. In that case, I was very deep on the attack. Very gentle now, I won't smack you so hard. Yeah, ooh. Yeah, and then this is all we need here. Now I've got this guy going, oh crap. That's what we're looking for. I want to take somebody who's ready to fight and make them say, oh crap, every time we engage. So let's take this to the next step because I don't want to take too long. So apologies, I know we're going to kind of cruise here. One of the other things we were using was timing and patterns. So beat 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, beat 1, 2, 1, 1, beat, Just creating maybe a little bit of a timing interval, which is really common in fighting and really common in some classical martial arts fighting. You'll see it in movies. Guy comes in and punch, this guy moves, he punches, that guy moves, he blocks, next person punches. It's very rhythmic sort of thing. And I like the idea of, the idea of taking this rhythm and breaking it so they don't quite know when to throw the punch. And you could see as this progressed, hey, Kyle, you were a great uke on this, by the way. Thank you very much. He's starting to like lean back. He's like, geez, if I pull in the hand, what's coming in? I have no idea anymore what's going to happen. We're creating tension, and that was the little crack in the stump that we were doing. Notice, I'm creating a little tension in myself too. I'm not, here. Now there is a little bit of, we're kind of in here, but we're not here. I was joking around with, because I said it, but right after mine was Scott Bragg's session. His session was about, I don't want them to see me fighting or see that I have martial skill at all. And I'm like, I want them to see this fucking shit and be scared of it. God, screw me. But these are different strategies. This is a strategy. What I don't want to do is be so tied and so stiff on this stuff that I'm defeating myself. This is, oh yeah, ooh. We're kind of opening this up so we can throw anything at any time. I lost my own thread. Beat 1, 2, beat 1, 2, 1, ooh, ooh, beat. Play with that rhythm for like 30 seconds. We're not going to take long.
Holds his hand. How do I make the decision to go hit him in the head?
Mm-hmm.
Or not.
Or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, well, how do I know he's going to do what I want him to do so I can hit him and I don't have to think about this? Ooh, good question. I don't know. I kind of feel it. It's a little bit of hunting. But that being said, remember, we've initiated this. Where it's easy to forget the context here. If Mr. White's going to be the good guy, he's going to hit me in the hands. Right now, I'm here. I'm here. Before he even hits me, I'm here. I'm ready to kind of fucking fight. Yeah. All of a sudden, he's already set up this expectation, and he hasn't paid a lot of cost or put himself at big risk for it. I go to punch back. Exactly. He's kind of playing this little bubble of tension in there. So now we already have it. He'd go ahead and hit me kind of hard. Yeah, even harder. Okay, yeah. Okay, there we go. Now we're working on it. You could be wrong. You could pick the wrong time. If I go to fake this and he doesn't move his hand, and it turns into a face punch, and hey, that's not too bad. It's also one of the reasons why I move offline a little bit when I come in for that punch, in case they counter jab.
Yeah.
So that counter jab comes in. Ooh, there we go. Oh, sorry, I caught your eye there. And now here we are.
Yeah.
So, good question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Answered well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. You're trying to set up an expectation. So it's like Pavlov, like, hey, I move like this, I slap your hand. Hey, I move like this, I slap. Hey, no face.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and they believe it's going to happen.
A nice easy rule of thumb if you're looking to set a pattern is do it twice and then break it the third time. That's it. That was a good tip that Hanchi gave me years ago, and it's held me in very good stead. But now that we know what we're doing, oh, geez, Louise. Now we're going to add level change to this. Now what I don't want to do is take any of these techniques and say this has to be the biggest, most powerful fucking leg crusher kick, or I'm trying to destroy this thing and break it. Not really my aim. My aim is to make it so that he just has to think about little stuff that doesn't really hurt me too much. Oh, okay, yeah, he's a little far away for that. Okay, cool, we'll smack his hand. Okay, yeah, just a little kick on the inside of the knee. These are...
Thank you so much, Zach.
This is part of his Sandan test, I hear. So, how many leg kicks can you take before you get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? So, but now we're gonna add in this idea of level change. So, Joe, that's okay, Mr. Matt. So, very, very gentle, we'll go slow. I'm gonna kind of have that little beat. He goes pull. We're just gonna kind of throw this little dook. Just this little tiny inverted stomp kick. I'm not trying to damage him, I'm not trying to kill him. I'm just trying to get him to take his attention from here to all of a sudden fucking down here, back to up here. It's down here because beat, whoa. You can change this up at any time. Let's play with that sequence. Beat, fake beat, kick, jab. Yosh. Thanks, sir. Good, my attacker's doing this. He's saying, oh shit. I'm on the defense now. That's what I want to do. I never wanted him to be the person in my position right now who says, oh yeah, I feel good about this. I'm happy where I am. I like this. I don't want him to feel that. I want him to be constantly guessing. Now, one last thing we're going to add in, because we got 5 more minutes, basically, is we're adding in big, scary things to create a little bit of to create a big response from folks, and then we were also giving some opportunities and adding some staging to what we're doing. So right now we've been hanging out and sort of kind of playing this bad game. Oh, here we go. Oh, perfect. He was great. He's pulled his head back, my jab missed, and now it looks like my chin's hanging, and he's got a perfect little counter punch. This may not be the staging method you want to go with. I chose this as an easy way to make it very visible for people. Just like how if he threw a jab and I moved out here, this is a very easy thing for somebody to see and hit. I'm doing that as a teaching tool, not necessarily as a fighting tool. I might be looking at a different type of staging right here where now, yeah, attacks are kind of coming up and in, or yeah, there's this little bit of a stage that looks like a takedown. Nah, we were actually happy to come back up and fight. There's lots of ways of staging. All staging is making them think there's an opportunity that you're already prepared to deal with. So, very, very good, very gentle. Sorry, that's slapping everybody. I'm gonna have you carry your hands up. Yeah, so tap. Oh, good, he pulls. Tap, whoop. I'm gonna kind of hang this forward, and as that right hand comes in, I'm gonna slip to the outside. Just a little slip. It's more of a reposition than a big itchy one. It's just a whoop, whoop. I'm okay if it just missed me. At this point, where are we gonna go, guys? And where am I going? Yeah, we're all kind of fighting up here. He's gonna probably bring this up to cover. He might be bringing that back in. And now the fight for him is up here. Sorry. As we're coming in, oh no, the fight was actually down below. And now we've used that as a way to take their legs. There was a Dan, the yellow belt black stripe. Hi Dan. He had a great sequence with Mr. Aaron Prince, where at a yellow belt level, seeing that counter punch coming, he's moving here, and he was like, ah! And here's the emergency for Aaron. And this looks like, all this stuff, but he had done a good job of incorporating some of the last material because he was right here and ready to go. I said, at yellow black, I'm impressed. Good job. Please show that to the group. So sequence by itself, tap, Tap, jab, head in the chin, moving outside. Big scary bear claw beaver, man. Taking the leg. That's it. That's the sequence. But we're incorporating several different things onto it. Have fun. Last few minutes.
So who wanted to look at Scott's stuff? Okay. So if I'm correct, I'm not Scott Bragg number one, but if I'm trying to remember, it was something was coming in, like attack was coming in, he was just like a double grab, right? Double grab, and he was kind of just moving off to the side, right? And then I think, and then from here he was going to that safe place, or he's kind of moving around to that safe place to get into here, right? But and he had the arm, right? So whoa, and then kind of getting into this position, and then from there he was either just going into Gensake Nage or
Musadori if the arm pushed out.
or Musadori if the arm pushed out. That's right. Okay, so what in the specific of that were you curious? So the whole thing, or
Transition from here to getting the
To get-
that transition.
yeah. Okay. So great. So here, all right. So we're in this position. So now, it's very easy on this transition to try to pick up this arm and move him, and Matt feels all that tension. He's never going to let me do it. And that's what kind of Scott's point was, is like he wasn't really pushing the arm up. He wasn't doing this. His hips are too far behind his hand. He wasn't doing that. The articulation of the limbs, I think he called it, right? So as he was coming out to here and kind of moving to the space, he got the arm kind of connects with the shoulder, right? So he could actually push in on this from here and not touch. So it was the shoulder that was doing, and his person was actually putting Matt into that position from here. And then he would just kind of coming in, but just notice that was more just to have his hand up, but it really was to articulate the shoulder so that this would be here. No, not even touching Matt. He just happened to could have a little bit, maybe a slide here to get a little bit extra. Okay, so this will be actually extremely difficult. As this comes in, we're going to go up to here. All right, we're going to take this spot back into the safe place and face him. All right, so I'm actually going to be facing Matt. Now from here, can I actually put myself in position where I'm not even touching him with my hand, but I'm pushing him in with my shoulder and kind of pulling him back on this with this one at the same time. So if you can do this no hands, then the hands will be easier, because all that really is just, this is just here. Very, very light. All right, so I will get in a position where I can actually pull and push into Matt with no hands. And then from there, we can kind of go and look at taking him down. If you can get there, which is what he was doing, then you'll see that the hand had nothing to do with it. It was just there to maybe prompt, to kind of just make this just a little bit higher. How much pressure did I put on there?
None.
It's just the lightest of touches, where I think everybody saw that. It was really this that was doing it, and this here just happened to be coinciding just for that extra little lift. More blocking you from not coming down than anything else, right? And so he'd hide behind this. But it was his positioning that was doing the whole thing to Matt. All right, does everyone understand what I'm asking you to? Yes, sir. Moving off to the side, stepping behind, facing him, and getting in a position where my shoulder and my hip rotation can actually put Matt into that position, put that pressure on his arm so it pulls him down around here without using your hands. Okay? Super difficult. Have fun. Shoulders are kind of on this plane, right? You see it's kind of leaning down like that? All right. If I move on a plane that he's not on, say I move on this plane, he's on this plane, it just turns him. And I get him turning and stuff like that. I'm not really getting the effect that Scott was giving. I'm actually going to turn and twist and shift on the plane that Miles is, if not even a little more overextended. I'm kind of almost ending kind of about 2 degrees down from me. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. This is very, very, very subtle. So if you don't get it, please don't worry. So as I shift back, I'm altering to be kind of under the plane that Miles is already on. Somebody bring me to get subjectory of 2 hombos, please. So I moved over to here. Over here. Put a line on Miles' shoulder. Right there. See, that's the line his shoulders are on. Do you see that? Right. Put a line on my shoulders, please. Okay. It's going to turn parallel with me. I'm actually going to adjust so that my plane is actually not the higher one, but it's actually going to be the lower one. See how I tilted the whole thing with this turn and the shift? So now Miles is heading down because my plane's actually has now gone lower than his. So he has to compensate by catching up to me. Right? And because of that, I don't need this. Because of that turn, I'm pushing, he's there, I'm pushing this up higher and pulling this down lower than the plane they're already on. So I can get into this position from here. See it? Crazy complicated. All right, keep going. Outside of his hands. All right, here. So I want to show you the dynamics. As this starts going in, notice how I'm pushing this back, which is twisting John. And that movement kind of does the same thing. From here, I need this hand to go into his shoulder to push him over. Do we see that? If we come in here, and I push this hand just back, it just rotates his thing. It doesn't get him over the top. I need this to kind of come into here. So it's collapsing and moving him because there's only so much room that his whole arm can collapse into, right? So I'm trying to push his hand into his shoulder to push him over. This is the direction. Now he just happens to be bent, but the same thing is happening. Do you see the direction of my head? I'm trying to put his hand to his shoulder. But if I go back this way, it just opens you up. It doesn't do anything. If it goes down this way, he just loses the arm. I'm trying to push his arm into his shoulder to move him. At the same time as I'm pulling this one out of the way. Right? Do we see what's happening here? Yep. So now I have to change my grip because we're just off a little bit. Getting into here, pulling this, pull him around, and getting to a place where I can push easily into his shoulder. And if I'm not lined up with that push, it won't work. Do you see it? Tell me if you can. It's fine. This is incredibly complicated, right? So if I'm pushing this way, all he does is turn. I need to get this lined up. So I'm aiming, pushing right down into John's shoulder. But I have to do it with my shoulders. But that's the physical effect. If everyone can imagine their arm being pushed to their shoulder this way, it would push you around. Can you feel that physically? Yeah, it pushes you around. But imagine if you're in this position and your hand was getting pushed back into your shoulder. Right straight for it, what that would do to you. That's the feeling you're trying to give them. What makes it complicated is at the same time this happened, this one's pulling it around, so you're kind of forever chasing the shoulder. But you need to be lined up to be able to do that. Pretty tough stuff. And that's how you can make it easy, right? That's how we can get the pressure out of it, because I don't need to, grab this time. I don't need to do this because right now I'm not in a position to push John's arm that way. I need to put myself in position to push John that way. And that's what Scott was doing, is he was getting into here. So now, as I push, everyone thought it was this. This is just happens to be holding it up. I'm pushing into John's shoulder and pulling it around, and now we can go. So the angling is more around. Yeah. All right, give it a try. See if you can create that feeling in your partner. Really fuck. Stuff that happens in your normal day-to-day life or has happened that you can draw from or those experiences, and you can actually see that you can bring those into this art. Because you're getting in an argument, you can feel fiery and just jumping all over the person. You can feel like, whoa, what are you doing to me? And you feel watery. And I'm talking about like verbal fights, arguments you've had with other people, maybe even in your own mind. So I'll skip all that diatribe again. And basically looking at this position where John and I are kind of pushing against each other. And the fight scenario is like, I just not gonna fight anymore. I'm just kind of give up. I'm just kind of quit the fight. Yeah. And do you see what happened to John? He's now off balance because he was relying on this pressure that I gave him. And the second that I said, I'm not doing this anymore, John kind of got off balance. His hands changed from holding me to holding on to me. He's actually pulling down on him right now because I'm off. Okay. So let's focus on that part. Who asked for this?
So I brought up, it was more, I had trouble when we were doing the double punch avoid, getting into contact, because then it was like, you're quitting, but at the same time, you are going to challenge them eventually.
Okay, but I wasn't challenging them.
Okay.
So same thing, we changed this into punches, and I know where John's punching me. He's punching me right here, obviously. And I'm just gonna quit this altercation. I'm just gonna get out of the way. I'm just gonna walk away from it. I just don't care, and I don't care which way it comes in. I'm just gonna get over here. But the problem is like, sometimes, when you quit something dramatically, like, I'm done. It's just like when we were here, it is shocking to John, and he's off balance because of it. When I quit like this and I just move out of the way, John's not shocked. He's not off balance. He's still on balance at the point in time where he can actually throw another shot. Follow me so far?
Yes.
Right? So I need him to get shocked by me moving at it. So what I'm going to do to shock him in this one is I'm going to invade some space that he needs. Okay? Still with the same emotion. So he comes in, I'm out of here. He comes to that second one. I'm gonna be here. And now he's more shocked. Now he's more off balance. I'm not trying to hit him. I'm just trying to invade some of this space. And then from here, we got basically kind of borrowed this from Mr. Bragg. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to the safest place possible because I'm getting in this fight, and I'm maybe at the bar or whatever. And I'm just going to move to that position behind him. Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
So think of it, so that aspect of it. So it was getting them off balance in the second one.
It was having trouble invading that space while trying to shut off at the same time. I was not ending up in like beneficial positions.
Show me.
It was against Ian, too. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So you're getting out of the way. Okay, that looked horrible.
All right.
I
No, I don't know, sometimes I would end up, it was very hard to end up in a beneficial position trying to do
It was always, so he would be like back on balance. So he would be back on balance, right? So we weren't, so John punches the first one and we're here. Obviously the second one, we kind of see, he comes in, you see where the punch needs to happen, right? He needs to kind of advance his body. And so our first one comes in here, the second one comes in. I'm just gonna be in a spot that his body needed to occupy. I'm gonna quit to that location. And then from there, we'll just kind of, go behind and get something, okay? So really the whole point was like, get something in there that he needs to occupy that spot, just quit and just put some of your hands up into that spot that he needs, okay? So let's all just try that for a second. So this is just easy. He's just gonna come in, I'm gonna go inside, I'm just gonna put something in a spot that he needs. That's all. I think we can tell John is kind of disrupted right now. And then from there, after that, safe space is right behind him. I'm just gonna go right into there and take him down, inside, outside. This wasn't a technical drill as much as a kind of an emotional drill. So, yeah, go ahead, give it a try. Get out of the way first one, start invading some.
Mr. White, could I be your attacker, if I could? Let's play with. Oh, all of a sudden, I'm kind of walking in my own shit now, aren't I? He's not wasting any energy. This little game I'm playing earlier, where I'm getting somebody who's tense with me and is ready for a fight, and I'm giving them a fight too, and then we're just kind of changing it. He's not worried about any of that. It doesn't matter what I do.
I don't care.
Yeah. He doesn't give a damn. I go to engage. Yeah, well, okay. It's kind of, it's in another way very hard to read. It's hard to engage with. He's not. It's trying to follow you around for an argument, and every time I find you, the bus door is closing, and you're driving off. So, run downtown and try to find you again. And every time you jump in the taxi.
Like that was the point, because then now if he does that thing again, I'm like, oh, I'm engaged in the fight now. Even though I'm not fully engaged, I'm feeling like, what's the problem today? I'm talking to you. That means you kind of got me.
This happened today at our thing. We had a person at this workshop decide that he wasn't overtly going for us when we were trying to
He was trying to
demonstrate
show off
kind
his sonship.
but kind of starting to show off. And at one point, I was saying, okay, great. So he was the attacker, I was the target. I said, okay, you're just pushing me, right?
Yeah.
And our idea was getting pushed. We kind of know to fall off or to fall off, and then he starts kind of fucking. So there was a Musadori for a second. And I said, oh shit, I'm out of 4%. Let this go. He goes to kind of re-grapple here. And then there this was. And then he stopped.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, that would have been a very different story.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Very, very different kind of story. So instead, it was kind of halfway by, oh fuck, I can't really fight right now.
Disengaged. Cool. Disengaged.
Cool, can't fight right now.
Yeah, and that was kind of, I was trying to pull it this, it was the fact that I'm treating this just like an emotional argument where I see somebody coming in, and I know the next thing I do, the next look I give them, the next thing I do will engage them in the fight. I'm just like, I'm not doing it. Not doing it today. I use that thing from Yellowstone. We've never seen Yellowstone. There's this guy and this girl, and she's batshit crazy, and he's like this old country guy, and he walks out and he just sees her standing there with like, and he's just like, I ain't got time for you today. I just keeps walking. Doesn't even break stride. Doesn't go nothing. Just sees like, I ain't got time. Just keeps going. And that's basically what I'm doing here. Is that we're with this? It's like, I just don't have time. You know. Wait, what? Wait, you didn't engage. You know, so Mr. LeVay's doing his thing. I'm like, I'm engaged. I'm engaged. He comes in, it's just like, get back here, man. You know, I mean, it's just like, you know, what are you doing? Now, because that concept, I was trying to get you to emotionally detach and just move around the room like a human being, because the goal was to basically make you see that you know all the tricks right now. You know how to walk and move. Where it goes further is that can you keep that same feeling, so Mr. LeVay here, of, hey, I'm going to quit, he's going to be off balance, and I'm just going to walk over here and take him down, and see how easy that is, to, I'm still going to quit the technique, but I'm going to have that same feeling that I quit and that I walked over here, but now I just happen to be doing Kamai. You understand? But the feeling of moving into that Kamai was the same as if I just walked away. I'm not trying to do martial arts. I'm trying to just walk around the world. And this time it just happens to walk like this. It's the same feeling. That make sense? I'm gonna run over a little bit. Any other questions, thoughts, or just questions about anything? All right, we're good. Go home.